Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Conscious Tarot. This is going to be a reading on, as the title probably brought you here, on what you need to liberate from, So this is a pick a card reading and it is timeless. Now, I will say this, even though this is definitely a timeless reading, so anytime you find it, you're probably meant to find it because energy is always changing, always shifting, and every person is in a different place energetically at different times and different points in their life. So even though this reading is timeless, with all that said, I'm going to say I am pulling this on the full moon in Aries with the planetary alignments right now that is perfect, especially in the next week or two, for the energy is right for liberating from something. So if you're watching this now at the time this is released, this is especially important reading because this is the time where we can make these changes and they'll be long lasting in our life. So at least for many years to come. So this is like the perfect energetic weather, so to speak. If you haven't watched any of my soul weather forecasts, I do energy readings each week to kind of gauge where things are in the collective energetically, from my perspective. So if you haven't seen that, this is like energy weather here. We're pulling on the energy weather is right for liberating yourself from something. So let's go ahead and get an introduction to each one of these piles. And I was drawn to use the Witch's Wisdom Oracle set to get our different piles here. And so for pile number one, we have here Hearth, Homecoming, and we have this, a fireplace with the rainbow Flourite. So whether you're drawn to the card, the imagery on the card, or the stone, either one is perfectly fine. For pile number two, if you're drawn to this card, which is the Wiccan Reed and Ethos card, this, I don't want to go into what each card is already telling me when I pull them. We'll get into that when we get to the piles. But if you're drawn to this for whatever reason you're drawn to it, or the Howlite crystal here, then that's your deck or your pile number two. And then for our final pile is going to be represented by this beautiful Witch's Cottage security card. So that this, if you're pulled to or drawn to that card for whatever reason, or the amethyst crystal, then that is your pile. So we're going to go ahead and start jumping right in. We're going to do some oracle and just dive in and see what wants to come out. This again is what do you need to liberate yourself from right now? So think of that in mind as you look at these cards and crystals and see what you're drawn to. And I'll see you in whatever pile you decide to join, or piles. Hello, pile number one. If you chose pile number one, this Hearth card, Homecoming card, with the fireplace or the rainbow Flourite, then this is your pile. And hello and welcome. Let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and put him up there at the front of the class. So as I said in the beginning, I had, as soon as I pulled these cards, I had information downloads coming through on kind of what direction to go with these piles. And so with this Hearth card, Homecoming card, this really tells me, so home is where the heart is. And so this really, with the Hearth, what is part of the word Hearth? Heart. So this is like, in your heart, home is where your heart is. And what I get from this homecoming is that you have, if you were drawn to this pile, one of the main things that you're needing liberated from right now in your life is this need to put on personas to keep up appearances, to so like if you think about when you come home at night, when you're out and you're about during the day and you're interacting with people, what do you really look forward to when you come home and come into your house at night? A lot of people, most people, they strip down and they you get in your comfy clothes and you can be yourself at home. You can really be yourself. You can let go and of everything like perceptions, and you don't have to hold up appearances. You don't have to keep up appearances like you do, like a lot of people feel like they do when they're out in the real world. So this really tells me that if you're drawn to this pile, one of the things that you may be feeling at this time that you need to be liberated, or you want to be liberated from, is this need to feel like you have to keep up appearances. And so that tells me that there might be a need to get in touch with your authentic self, or there might be a fear around being your authentic self in the environment within you, the environment you are living your life in. So not necessarily in your home, but it could be in your home as well. But this is really telling me that there's this need, that you feel like whatever environment you're in, you feel like you can't be yourself. For whatever reason, you feel like you cannot be yourself. And so it's talking about needing to find a place where you can feel and be yourself in, finding your true home, finding your true heart, your true home. So, because also under this energy, uh, that I'm pulling this reading under, it is all about liberating yourself from something. And so I really am feeling strongly that there is this desire within you to get the peace, or to find peace um, with yourself. That there might be a part of, if you're drawn to this pile, there, for whatever reason, there might be a part of you that hasn't, either you haven't, you maybe haven't done the shadow work to really accept all the parts of you, including your shadow parts of you, the darker parts of you, where you feel like if you can't, for whatever reason, if you're drawn to pile one and you're here listening to this reading, that you may not feel like you can be yourself for whatever reason that is. It could be because you don't feel like you would be fit in, that you would be accepted. There's definitely a shadow quality there that needs to be looked at and addressed, that um like there's a fear of being your unique self. So um it's telling me that there's a facade here that you wear, a mask or a facade that you put on every day, and wearing that mask, wearing that, being that persona, being that false self for the world around you, is wearing you down. And there's this call and need for rest. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the center, then we're going to get the oracle cards around it. So these are the oracle cards that I pulled for your pile. We have all you can eat, hungry bunny, all you can eat. So I get this as, it could be a little bit of a keeping up with the Joneses. It's keeping up appearances. Again, we're trying to fit in, that all you can eat is, it could be feeling like you have to, your house needs to look a certain way. You might have to, you feel like you have to drive a certain car, or wear certain clothes, or act in a certain way in your life to fit in, to belong. And so that's what I get with this all you can eat card, is that, it's that keeping up with the Joneses is what I'm really getting that's coming through, where you feel like it's kind of that need to keep up appearances again, where you feel like you're just cramming this stuff down, like you're holding yourself back and cramming down all the expectations. I get this carrot is almost representing like all these expectations that are expected of you, everything people are expecting of you, or you have these expectations you've placed on yourself, that now look how big that is, and you feel like you have to consume all of that. There's just all these overwhelming expectations, and you feel like you can't. I mean, if you look at his face, he doesn't, even though it says all you can eat, it doesn't look like he really feels like he can eat that. He's got the little bit of a worried look on his face, like, I don't know, I'm hungry, and I want to fit in, I want to belong, I want to be accepted, but can I do it? It's this, feeling like I don't know if I can keep this up. What I'm feeling. And then we have 47, Sky Bridge, possibility for union. So I'm getting a couple things that are coming from this card. I'm getting that there might be a tower moment ahead for you. Especially it's interesting because I am pulling this right before a full moon. And so we have this, I get not only a full moon, but this is like a sun, but this is giving me this, even though there's this bridge here, and it's a bridge to your happiness, a bridge to the sun, a bridge to the happiness. It's like you have to go through this tower, these towers, the bridge, the towers, to get to the other side. So this tells me it's almost, in a sense, there might be a little bit of an ego death that needs to occur, a tower moment, which usually is followed by, a need to get into a bit of hangman energy, see things from a different perspective, do that shadow work. And sometimes if we don't do that shadow work, well, then a tower moment will fall in our life to precipitate or push us in a direction that we need to go to. So this is kind of telling me with this sky bridge that there's something wonderful on the other side. And which doesn't surprise me, because given what we're talking about in this pile here, that if you put this persona down, even though you may not, for whatever reason, you feel like you can't, you feel like you won't be accepted in the environment that you're in the life that you've built for yourself, because it's almost like you may have built this life on expectations of other people, what other people expected of you. So I feel like this pile is calling out to a lot of people that maybe followed in the footsteps of their parents, or pursued something because someone else kind of gave them this push in this direction. Or they, it's what was expected of them. And it doesn't have to be just a career. It could be like, maybe, you're married and have kids because that's what you were raised to do. That's what was expected, even though in your heart you would be happier being single. It was like you followed, this pile is really calling out to me, people that, have done things in their life or built their life around expectations of others, whether that be societal expectations, familial or family expectations. It could be religious expectations. But it's there's this calling, this need to break free, and liberate yourself from those foundations that were false foundations in your life, that were not correct for you specifically. So the heart here, and I like that I decided to put that in the center. The heart of your reading, your heart is calling out for you to be your authentic self, for you to break free of the facade, the masks that you wear on a daily basis. There's this calling and need, you're in your soul and your heart for to free yourself, to break free. I see this really just shattering of the masks coming through, like, almost like the I think it's the Greeks, or it might be it might be the Jewish people that they throw I'm seeing, like where they throw the plates on the ground and they stomp on them. And it's kind of a freeing, liberating feeling. And when they do that, in celebration, I think that it's kind of a form of like, for good luck, for good fortunes. And so I'm getting this image of that in my head, so I had to share that coming through. It's that, needing to break, to just really shatter those masks and the facade that you put on, and get in touch with your true self, get in touch with your authentic self, and let that shine through. And it may require some work. It may be, look at this bridge. Would you want to try and cross that bridge? It's not going to be easy. It's not an easy bridge to cross. There's going to be some tower moments to occur, but look what's on the other side. If you can break it, and the reason I say that it's not going to be easy is because if you think about, you've built your life. If you're here, you've probably built your life in some way around the expectations of others. So part of that breaking and freeing yourself from that limitation is going to reside in, in a sense, you might feel like you're failing the people that you were trying to make happy. So there's obviously other people involved here that you've been trying to placate or keep happy. It could be keeping up appearances at work, it could be keeping up appearances at home, it could be lots of different things here for lots of different folks. But that's going to require probably hurting some people along the way, and that's going to be hard to navigate through, because it's standing up for yourself. It's standing up and understanding that it that if people don't accept you for who you really are, they need to fall out of your life anyway, because they're not meant to be in your life. They're in your life because of the vibration of the mask, because of the mask that you're wearing. They're attracted to you because of the persona and the mask that you're wearing, and that's why they're in your life, because they like the fake you is it, the way they see the persona that you're putting before them. So they're drawn to what you're representing now. So there are people that may fall away and fall out of your life if you decide to break free of this limitation and liberate yourself from the shackles that are binding you right now. That there's this real call for that. I feel like from this pile, it's a lot of people that are feeling very fatigued, very stressed, very just really needing to feel at home, needing to find their tribe, find their place in the world, a real need to be able to be yourself. It's screaming out this need to be your true self, to find your tribe and find the people that you belong to. And I feel like a lot of you out there have not done this, where if you're drawn to this pile, you may not have done this, or if you have done it in other areas of your life, there still might be something clinging around here that it's trying to draw your attention to, that you need to be liberated from. There might be still a place in your life where you're putting on a mask, putting on a facade that needs to go away. Reading is calling for you to look at those things and find what, how you can change that. Get in touch touch with your true self, your authentic self, and bring that out. And if it, it could, and it's not going to be easy, because for some people it could be leaving you could be having an established family and leaving a family behind. It could be leaving a job behind, and now you've got, it can completely shake your life up. That's why I said I feel like those two pillars are towers. I feel like they're built out of this like magma shifting rock, like it's almost volcanic in a way. But it's driven by, there's so much fire on that. It's driven by passion. And so is this. We've got the fireplace at the center. So this is your passion, your desire. It's coming from your heart, it's coming from that heart space, this real desire to be able to be your true self, to no longer wear those masks that you might wear in the real world. So it's really a breaking free of that. So then we have 53 listing. Now I really feel like this is getting in touch with and listening, just taking the time to listen to what you need right now. I feel like it's almost like, for me, I feel in this reading, it's coming through is almost like intuition, a need to listen to your own inner guidance and wisdom and intuition at this time is what I'm really, really picking up here. And then we have the eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. I really love this for you. It's 18. And which breaks down 8 plus 1 is 9. So 9 is about independence and liberate. Again, it's a liberating card, but it's also looking at some things. He's looking through that monocle, a magnifying glass. And really, when I see this card, it always reminds me of like a Queen of Swords or Ace of Swords. It always gives me that vibe when I see this card. It's of a need for clarity, a need for really looking at some things. And I like that it has rising above the fray, because I feel like for this pile, it has been living under other people's expectations, trying to fit in. I really feel like there's a lot of people that were drawn to this pile that have a need, like they've lived their life to try and fit in somewhere, fit into the life that they have built for themselves, but it's not where they need to be. It's in their heart and soul, is their intuition is driving you and pushing you to liberate yourself from trying to fit in and trying to belong, because you're meant to be unique. You're meant to, each one of us is unique and different for a reason, because we have our own unique gifts that we bring to the world. And when we don't walk in the world as our authentic, unique selves, then we're not doing ourselves or the world any favors, because now we're not here fulfilling our true purpose here. There's a reason why we're unique. There's a reason why we're meant to be different, because we have certain gifts that we were born with that the world needs. And it's understanding and listening and getting an understanding of what your gifts are, where you fit in the world, and why you're here in the world. What are you, how are you contributing to things in the world, and how can you really contribute as your authentic self? And it's not things that you might think about, because I could tell you, I never thought in a million years, I never thought I would be out here doing these YouTube readings, these tarot readings. And I can tell you, before I started this channel, I had never picked up a tarot deck in my life when I started this channel. And there's a reason for that. I've always had gifts. I've always known since a young age that I have had gifts. And I knew what those gifts were. But they were gifts that weren't understood, especially when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. A lot of that stuff was, like if you did some of the things that I'm able to do, people thought of you as, you were the devil. So, it was, I was really never into, I never got into, uh, reading your, tarot, until recently, when I realized that it's a great medium for me to use to for my gifts, to help share the stories that I see that come through to me, the visions and energy, visions, insight that I get on a daily basis. And so I have learned over the last few years that one of the, I call myself a wayfinder. That is my gift, is a wayfinder. So um I'm out here using this forum, using these tools, the tarot, oracle decks, and tarot, for tools to help people find a way forward, when they're stuck. That's what it's kind of a way. It's a form of healer, but it's helping people on a path, like find their path, even because a lot of people might not understand or not know how to navigate the way forward. So it's kind of like, for me, this is giving them a path that they can choose to walk down, through these readings, and to help them understand maybe what's going on, what they need to change, or how they can change things, just to help understand and facilitate. Because the more knowledge that you gain, the clearer and more understanding you develop of a direction to go in life, is what I feel. And so that's what I'm out here trying to do. And I know I kind of went on a like divergence there, but I felt like I needed to explain, because I think there's some folks that might come to this and not understand that your calling, your gifts, they can be expressed in many, many, many different ways. And it could be as simple as, like, one of the gifts that I have is people find me randomly, come to me, are drawn to me, that I actually am a mirror for them, to help them see things that need to be I facilitate change in people, unexpectedly, and it's through just things that I say to people. They'll come and we'll have conversations, and through the conversation I have with them, they get a different perspective on something that they maybe had been struggling with prior, or not understanding how to, for whatever reason, or whatever topic it is. I help them heal in a way, through a conversation with them, because it's like I provoke, thought, a different perspective and a thought in people that do seek me out. So let's go ahead, and now that I've talked forever here, let's see. I think I can move these. I think I want to move these up a little bit here. Let's see if we can get that card in there, because I want to put these down below. So we have the Witch, the Veil. So Witch, experimentation, rebellion; Veil, the beyond, esoteric, subconscious. And then we have Capricorn. So you could be a Capricorn, but you don't necessarily have to be. Discipline, because this is just the energy of Capricorn, which it says on here: discipline, seriousness, hard work. What you desire requires hard work and sustained effort. It will not be an easy path, but you will gain wisdom. I told you this wasn't going to be an easy path. To liberate yourself in the way that needs to be liberated, it will not be an easy path. And then we have instinct. Trust and follow your instincts. There's no need to think it over or get another option or get another opinion. This is perfect, because this not only does this type, I love that this kind of fell under here, that hard work, and I talked about that. And then this instinct, Now it was these two cards together, the listening and the eyes of the eagle, but it's getting a new perspective and really listening. I like that it said, to there's no need to think about it or get another opinion. You already know, because and I like how this is like, there's almost like this wolf, it's almost like it's a mask in a sense, like, but I like how it's behind this person, that it's like, who you are, who you need to be, who you are. It's just bringing that forward. Putting the mirror, setting the mirror down, or the mask down, setting the mask down, setting that facade. And I like how it's dark and shadow, that this is a shadow aspect, that you have felt that you've needed to carry this shadow, this mask for so long, but it's time to, it's your call to set that down, and saying that it will not be easy. It will take hard work to do that, because this is changing essentially for many of you people. It could be changing your entire life to do that. And that is not an easy task when we've lived a certain way for so long. But when your heart and soul is calling for you to be something different, and here you've built your whole life around this facade, this mask that you've been wearing for maybe your entire life, it's not going to be easy, because it might require changing your entire life. It may require changing professions, changing, you could, when you change, when you become a different person, people are going to fall out of your life, people that you've probably known forever. You could even, come to disagreements with family members. So you could lose a lot of people that have been close to you in your life. And there's going to be points along along this path that are going to feel like you're very alone. But it's also this trust that, putting trust that you will find the right place and the right people for you. When you start on this path, you'll start attracting the things towards you that are meant for you, that are truly meant for you. And you'll start feeling more at home. You'll start feeling like you belong. At first you won't, because at first it's going to be chaos, because it's going to be walking into the unknown. I like that there's this curtain here, because it's like that it says veil, because I think that your whole, you have to unveil, you have to take the veil off, you have to, this life that this persona, this life that you've led, it's an illusion. It's like, I like that this is almost, it's giving me that, like when the magician, puts the veil, or puts the, what's the word I want to use, the cloth over something, and then they pull out, make something disappear, or make something vanish, or change something, they kind of, sometimes they put the cloth over. And so it's like, almost like this magic act of, that you've been doing this magic act all your life. And now it's like, there's this need to take the veil off, to get past that. And I this is a little bit different. This was kind of an unexpected card with the witch coming out here, but I'm getting here is almost like a magician feel of this, that you do. I get this as your gifts. Like I'm getting the experimentation is coming through strongly. And I feel like, one of the things that witches do is we experiment with things, because no two witches are the same, just as no two humans are the same. As witches, we have to find our own path. We have to find our own way of doing things. So a spell works for us. So things work for us, are in tune with us, that we have to find our unique identity as a witch. And so this is it's drawing to or telling me, through this card, it's actually saying, that it's going to require some experimentation until you find the right path. Because if you've never, yeah, for many of you, if you've never really allowed yourself to be yourself in your life at all, um, you may not know who you are, really, so that might take some learning, some experimentation of trying different things until you find the thing that feels right for you, find now. And I don't know why I keep going back to like my journey on coming out here and doing these tarot readings, but I didn't, I got to this in a roundabout way. It was not like a straightforward path. It was definitely a winding, crazy path. So I actually I took a course and became certified in hypnotherapy and rapid transformational therapy. Is how this journey started. And through doing that program, I got certified, had planned on being a hypnotherapist. And then I got to the end of the program, got certified, and I said, you know what? I don't really feel like being a therapist, a traditional therapist, and even though it would be hypnotherapy, is for me. And so then I started doing inspirational stuff. I started creating inspirational memes and things like that, and got in this creative space. And I was trying to impart my wisdom that way because I was trying to do it through creating a website and trying to do like blog sort of thing or articles and whatnot. And that wasn't feeling right. And at the time I had this huge fear about putting myself in a spotlight, putting myself out there, in the public, like, in a way, it was like, I just never liked being in the spotlight. I never liked being the center of attention. It made me very uncomfortable. But it was my daughter who encouraged me to start making TikTok videos. So I started making some TikTok videos, and they were more aimed toward, inspirational type stuff, or things that I knew, from either, I learned through either going through the hypnotherapy program or through my years, all my training in witchcraft and shamanism and different schools and whatnot, that I was trying to impart that wisdom. I was trying to find a venue, a forum to get that out of me. It needed to come out. All this wisdom I had amassed, I was being told by Spirit, it's time to get these gifts. You've spent all these years, like 40 some years, you've spent obtaining all this knowledge. But what good is it doing anyone if it's sitting in your head and it's not getting out into the world? So you need to get this knowledge, this wisdom that you've amassed and obtained over 40 odd years of studying and going to all these schools, and all this knowledge that you have, you need to find a way to get this out to the people. And so, after all this going around and different things, I ended up, doing that TikTok video. I did a few TikTok videos, and then I started picking up, I had one tarot deck, and I started out with one. I have a whole huge shelf. You can't see it over here, but on this side over here, behind this, there's a huge shelf, 3 shelves tall, full of cards and decks, oracle decks and tarot cards. And I still have more coming that I haven't even gotten yet. So, because I found this is a great tool for my gifts. So you don't until you after all that said, I know I went off on a tangent, and if you're still with me, thank you for hanging in and tuning in and hanging on. But this is where it gives me back to that experimentation. It may not be a straightforward path. You may have to experiment with some different things until you figure out what is right, what feels right for you, because like I said, I did all these things, and nothing felt right until I did this, until I came here and started doing this. And I know my channel is not a huge channel, and I don't have a lot of people that watch my videos, but the point of doing it is to get the knowledge out there, and then it's out there for people to find it whenever they want to find it. And yeah, I'd love to get my channel to grow, and yeah, I would love to get support, but I have to do it in a way that's ethical and right for me, and not try and beat the algorithm, not try to push for followers and viewers. And yeah, I'd love to at some point hope that this that I get enough support that it'll help me buy new decks I can use and whatnot, that I'm not funding it all through my own income. But it's so important to me that that's not what matters. What matters most is being myself and getting my message out there. And so it's out here for you guys, that hopefully that you get something out of this and it helps you in some way. That's why I'm doing these. And so now let's go ahead. I don't even know how far we are into this, probably very long, but we haven't even pulled any tarot cards yet. And I'm really, you know what? I think we're going to do this. I'm going to use the tarot I think this is the tarot of the divine, because this has a very mystical kind of fantasy vibe to it. And I think that I want to pull on some cards from this to get that those shadows, or the facades, the masks, the illusions. This is what I'm going to use for the illusions. And then we're going to go, I need a deck that's a little more grounded, a little more real. What deck is calling for me for something that's a little more real? Let's use the Light Seers deck. Let's shine some light into those illusions. Let's do that. Okay, now that we got some decks, I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to go ahead and pull, I think I'm going to pull, since there's 4 of these, I'm going to pull 4 and 4 is what I think I'm going to do. I'm just flowing with what's coming through. I don't know. I don't ever really plan. I plan the topic, for these pick-a-cards, but I don't plan on how I'm going to lay them out. I just let it come through however it wants to. I guess I'm going to need to. I want to make sure I'm going to have enough room here. So I really hate stacking cards, but I may need to, since I'm going to have so much here. One more, please. So we have the 5 of Swords, the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, and the Strength card. So I like how on this 5 of Swords card that we have this lady here that is sitting almost like the foot of the gods, the foot of the emperor, the foot of the gods. And she she's in tears crying, but I feel like this is like how you feel under the burden of these expectations that are put upon you. Because if you think about, for some of it, for some people, it could be religious doctrines that you're living within that's confining, or you feel like you have to live a certain way. There are certain, within different religious structures, there are confines and things that are taboo, or certain ways, your expectations that are placed on you. but don't limit this to just religious. This is any area of your life where you feel like it has control over you, and that's what I feel like, that you're miserable because there's something else that has control. There's there's certain expectations. Like I said, those expectations are what's causing the conflict. Now, what I like about this is it's swords, and swords energy is all about mental. Swords is air, and air is mental. So this is telling me, this is saying it's in your head that you've allowed yourself to believe this, that you have to be this way, that you can change this, because this is just a mental belief, a perspective that you have taught yourself to believe, and it can be broken down. And if you look, I almost feel like, look at that freeing aspect, and look how it's like breaking free. I like how it's trying to escape and break free from what is ruling you, what is ruling and dictating your life right now. So then we have here with the high priestess. So look how she's trying to cover herself up. She's trying to pull the veil across. And the high priestess can talk about keeping things hidden, or things that are hidden from us. And I feel like this is really calling to get in touch with your intuition, to get in touch with yourself. It might require, going within and finding out what it is, who you really are. But I think it might be some of that is really hidden for you at this time, that there may be, it's going to require diving deep and getting in touch with who you are. And then this is Queen of Cups, and this is interesting. So with this Queen of Cups right now, what's coming through strongly is she is underwater. And look how she's almost coveting that cup. And if you've listened to any, I don't know how many people are here. I know there's going to probably be new people that's never watched my readings before. But if you have ever watched any of my readings, the Ace of Cups to me, or the cup, represents, especially the Ace of Cups, represents your cup, your specific cup. And in that cup, you put all of you in it. Your fears, your expectations, your loves, your desires, everything. That this cup embodies all of who you are at your heart and soul. This is all of who you are. So this is the cup, this is you've been giving a cup to the world that has not been who you are, because look how she's holding tightly and coveting that cup, which is yourself, your true authentic self. You have not been sharing that with anyone. You have been holding that, and you're underwater. This is, she's completely submerged underwater. So this is something that, it's all these, it's like you're drowning on the emotions, perceptions that you've had to, the person that you've had to be. You're drowning in that. It's causing you to drown and cling to the little bit that you have that is you, because I feel like that ocean is the world around you, and you're drowning in it right now. You're drowning in it is what I feel like. So then we have the Strength card here, and the Strength card, it's kind of twofold. It talks about fears, because we have to get up, we have to get up the strength to overcome fears, but we also have to get up the strength. It requires strength to overcome adversity. And in this card, she is actually, she's got her foot holding down this lion. You can't, or I guess, I don't know what that's supposed to be, because it's actually got an alligator's face. I just realized that the Strength card, that's like a crocodile or alligator face. I think alligator has the longer, I can't remember if it's crocodile or alligator, which one has the longer snout, but I know that's how you tell them apart. But she's holding, I like, it's like she's holding it down, like holding, again, it's like, look at this. she's clinging, holding, coveting that cup, keeping it secure. And look at this, like it's like holding down your strength. Like it's like crippling you, and it's going to require like a lot of effort to break free. This, for this animal, I don't know what kind of animal that's supposed to be. I don't think I've even mythologically, I can't think of an animal that has like, it's almost like a head of an alligator or crocodile, and then there's the lion's mane and front paws, and then it's almost like, I don't know, like a bear or something, or a, if that's supposed to be like a cow or bear or something at the back end, about the rear end. I don't know what that creature is, but how it's being held down, it's going to require a lot of effort to break free of that. And that's, now I am seeing down here these mushrooms down here, and it's giving me a very fairy vibe. So it might be for some of you that you might, and this is just coming, it's not going to be for all of you, but it's coming through that there might be, you might find some help in the fairy folk. They might be able to help you. There might be fairy folk that you can reach out to, for those of you that believe in that. And like I said, it's not going to be for only if that feels right for you. Don't take it if it doesn't feel right for you. Only take what resonates for you. But if you, if you feel like that is right, reach out to, maybe there might be some fairy folk, because I almost feel like this person gives me almost a fairy-ish vibe, that might be able to help you with finding who you are, to finding, rebelling, because one of the things that fairies can be good at is mischief, so, and I feel like, there's a part of you that might, for those that resonate with that message, there might be a mischievous side of you that needs to come out, that you might be afraid of showing. You might be afraid of showing that mischievous side of yourself, because we did have here under the witch, we have rebellion is part of that. And so there might be, for some of you, there might be a mischievous side of you that you've been afraid to bring out, because, it might cause some trouble. So you've been maybe a little bit afraid of showing that side of yourself or doing something. And there are ways to be positive. You can be mischievous and still in a positive way, where it's not breaking laws or anything like that. Because it could be just, you might be a jokester, I actually worked with a gentleman that he was, oh my gosh, he was a huge jokester. Oh my gosh, that guy was such a jokester. Like, it was like, all day, every day. And it was interesting but he was himself, and you knew that he was being himself, and it drew people to him, because even though he was a prankster and a jokester, you could tell he was being himself, and it worked out really well for him. People gravitated toward him. I'm trying to figure out where to put these cards. So we have the strength coming out again with the death card, death, rebirth. And I feel like that's after that, that's those tower moments. Like I said, this is also can be ego death. And we kind of talked about that a little bit, that there might be for some of you a bit of an ego death that needs to occur. But it's also, it's really putting an end to something that, that doesn't serve you. And this, I definitely, anytime we wear a mask, it's not serving us. We're doing it for others. We're not doing it for ourselves. And then we have the Page of Pentacles here in the Page of Wands. So, you know what? I do want to pull, I got these decks. I got this. I never use this deck. This is a little tiny deck. And this is, I don't know that I'm going to pronounce that lady's name correctly. Nicoletta Celosi, Sisoli. I'm probably butchering that name and I apologize. But this is a low Scarborough deck. But I very rarely use this deck because I pulled it out specifically for this reading. Because again, it has a very illusionistic quality to it. And it gives me a very freeing vibe. Like it's very, a lot of the imagery is like, feels like, how do I want to put it, like liberating, or freeing, or very airy, kind of mystical feeling I get. But I have a hard time reading this deck because I have not only a hard time, because it's so small, knowing what card it is, but the way they're represented, it poses me a challenge sometime of making sure I'm reading the correct card. So I need to, I just realized I need to pull those up. We got to go up further. I do not have enough room on this table. So we have the Strength, the Death card, the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. I think I've seen this infinity symbol, or this 8, a couple times. I'm in a couple different places, I thought, or maybe maybe it's just an illusion I'm seeing. I'm being drawn to that. So there might be, if you have a tattoo, the infinity symbol in a tattoo in some way, I'm being called that this reading might be for you, especially what we talked about here with the Strength card, that you might have a mischievous side in you that needs to come out, and get in tune with, that wants to express itself in some way. I'm really getting that message coming through. And then as far as the Death card, we kind of talked about that, so we'll go ahead and highlight with the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles can be the card of the student, of learning something, getting it's I get this as getting in touch with yourself, getting in touch with yourself and having fun doing it, okay, is what I get with these two cards. Get in touch with yourself and have fun doing it. So let's go ahead and pull some cards here. I'm getting three. So we'll pull 3 from this small little deck and hope that I can see what they are. So we have the 5 of Swords, and we had the 5 of Swords that came out there. And oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't it? Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is how you know a reading, because we're getting ready to wrap it up, and this is how you look at that. That big old carrot. She's got that big old carrot, and she's about to chop that up. Now, what did we talk about at the beginning of this reading with this big old carrot? This is all those expectations, and it's gotten so big that you can't deal with it anymore. And what's she doing? She's got that knife about ready to hack that carrot up into pieces so that she can deal with it. So there you go. Oh my gosh, perfect. See, I knew there was a reason why. I had to use this deck. I've never used this deck in a reading before. I've never used it. Oh, I take that back. I think one of my very first readings. I think maybe one. There could be one at when I very first started my channel. But I had difficulty using it. So I got away from using it. And then we have the 3 of Wands. So it's setting an intention. And the King of Wands. So that's taking action from setting an intention. No, I love how this came out. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you. Perfect. So we have, your advice here is do this slowly in pieces that you can handle. You don't need to crash down, unless you really want to. You don't need to crash down your entire existence. You can do this in small, manageable chunks to start changing your life. And then, it gives you that room for experimentation, to find out what is right for you. You know, bringing yourself, your true self out in small pieces, so that you get comfortable with it, so that you get used to it, so that it's manageable. But setting that intention, you know, maybe figuring out where you want to start, setting that intention, and then, you know, and then implementing it. The king of wands is, and I know it doesn't look like a king, but it's all females in this deck. These cards are all this female. So even the male card, the masculine energy. So this is it. I like this because this is almost representing to me, like, look how she's got this dragon that's coming out from her skirts, that's like breathing fire on this person down here. And so I really feel like this is, you know, you putting an end, or, you know, taking out, burning away that which no longer serves you. That's not you, putting an end to that, because it's like this is coming out from within her, who she really is. You know, part of who she is coming out and putting an end to something that doesn't belong in her life. You know, that these things that are weighing you down at this time, that are making you feel, you know, like you almost can't get through your day, that your day, I feel like for a lot of you that came to this, pick this pile and came to this reading, that you're at that place where you dread getting up and going, doing anything. Like, you dread going to work, you dread paying the bills, you dread the monotony of life. Okay. And you're really, there's like, no matter what you do, even when you go home, it's like there's no spark of joy, there's no passion. You know, the king of wands is a passionate king. He's passionate about what he does. He's fired up and ready to go, you know. And I feel like a lot of you have lost that passion, that desire for life, because you're living a life that's not meant for you. So when you find what is meant for you, you know, you're really going to you're going to have that drive, that passion to push forward, to take action on it. So that's what I have for you, pile one. This went way longer than I thought. So if you hung in to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, because I did not expect this to go this long. But thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. And I really hope you benefited from this message. Please, you know, if you're moved to, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave comments. All of it helps. It helps my channel grow. It helps this, you know, this reading gets distributed. The more people interact with it, the more it gets seen by people out there. So the more help it can be, you know, to others out there. So by doing those small little things, it really helps get these messages to more people, so it benefits more people. So just doing that small little thing can help in huge ways. So thank you once again. Thank you so much. I wish you the very best. Hello, for those of you that chose pile 2. So if you're here, you chose pile 2, which is the Wiccan Read Ethos card. So I guess I can try and read this, because there's probably some people that aren't familiar with the Wiccan read. Although I have to say, I don't. It doesn't matter what spirituality you follow. This isn't a big part of the reading, so I'll go ahead and read it for just to read it, but understand that it does play a part in the message, but it's not like you don't need to know this or anything. So don't, you know, take it to heart if it resonates and feels right for you. But bide the Wiccan law ye must, in perfect love and perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan read fulfills. The way it's hard to read on this card. Now I'm gonna have to look. I don't know what word they used there. Why is that not coming through? Ye harm none, do as ye will. And okay, I was trying to because it's wrapped, since the words are wrapped in like it's hard to make out the words. And ye harm none, do as ye will. And ever mind the rule of three. What ye send out come back to thee. Follow this with mind and heart. And merry ye meet and merry ye part. So, well, basically, the main principle of the Wiccan law is that is cause and effect. What actions you take, what you do, what you say, think, whatever you say, think, do, whatever you put out into the world will come back to you threefold. So, for most witches out there, or folks that follow the Wiccan faith, I'm sorry. My first reading went so long, pile one went so long that I lost track of time. So it's basically calling to saying cause and effect. Like I said, what you put out in the world is going to come back to you. It's kind of like a sense of understanding karma. So like most people that actually are true, follow the Wiccan law, or that are practicing witches. Now this isn't going to fall for everyone, but they understand the law of consequences, that they understand that if they put harm to another, if they do something that causes harm to another, that harm is going to be revisited back upon them. And some people are okay with that. Some people practice and they're okay with taking that on, or getting, whatever, because the universe at large is all about balance and trying to find balance. So if whatever you do, it comes back, and there's like a balance that needs to be kept. So it really is about cause and effect. And I say that because of the fact that I really, really feel like, one, this is a law. So this is like, there might be, if you came to pile two, because this reading is all about what are you trying to liberate yourself from right now, or what do you need to liberate from? And I feel like for those that came to pile two, what your heart and soul might be calling for you to liberate at this time is this need to there's rules that are being enforced in your life in some way that are feeling constricting, binding, that are holding you back in some way. Like you feel like you're almost like imprisoned. I'm getting there's one of the a card, and it's an oracle deck image that's coming through, where it has the Eight of Swords and the person is in a cage. And although the cage door is free, so she can free herself, but it talks about, Eight of Swords talks about, that you're in a mental cage that of your own creation, your own doing. But this feels like, to me, yes, that is true. That any even though societal rules or whatever rules are conflicting with you right now, that you're feeling you need to free yourself from, there usually is a way that you can do that within, and still be in harmony with the world around you, so to speak, in a lot of ways. So it's really talking for this need to maybe get creative with how you can bend the rules or find a loophole, so to speak, that is, but you can still walk in integrity, because this is what this is all about, is like doing things with integrity, doing things in a way that that are for, that it doesn't come back to you and harm you, that it's going to help you versus harm you. So And I think also, helping people, other people too, where it's not going to be like, how do I want to say it? Um, it really is like finding an alternate way, finding a different way, but doing it in a way that has integrity, that you do it with integrity, because that's what this card is. It's not so much the Wiccan law itself. That's why I said don't worry about the what's on the card in the Wiccan law, because that's not really relevant to the purpose of this reading and what you're here for. What you're here for is what is needing to be liberated at this time. And I feel like if you came to pile 2, the thing that is drawing you the most, or that you need to break free of, is some kind of confinement, where you feel like that you're confined within the rules, regulations of something in your life, whether it be like a good instance of this, or is analogy is if, like, say you work for the government, and through working for the government, well, now you have all these restrictions that are placed on you, where you feel like you have to live a certain way, or you have to act a certain way. It could be as simple as, you don't want to dress to a dress code at work or something. Or maybe it could be just, we kind of talked about this a little bit in pile 1, but for a different reason. But it could be, the fact that there could be, you were raised within a certain religion that, that you do have to act a certain way. There's expectations, but this specific deck is more about those rules, that the rules within something that you feel don't align with you, and you're wanting to break free of those rules. You're wanting, you just can't take it anymore. We don't we don't want to take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. That is what this pile is all about. Like this rebellion, this rebellious part of you that really wants to break the rules, in the sense of, like, I feel like there's, like, probably a lot of people that come to this deck that are those people that are really being called to action at this time, because of everything going on in the world. Like they're just really, there's this part inside of them that is really wanting to change something in the world around them, because they don't like the way things are. I really get that with this pile. And then we have the Howlite crystal here, as your crystal. And I don't know why I can't, but for me, like, so I use Howlite as like envisioning things. It's like a way that, for like my dreams, I use it to help facilitate my dreams and to do dream work. But I can't, I've, since reading 1 took like over an hour, it's slipping my mind, like the other properties of Howlite. But if you want to look up Howlite, and see how it fits for you with what you're here for, and after you watch this reading. But your crystal is Howlite, and I have a feeling a lot of it has to do with maybe getting some strength, but I feel like it's more with a plan of action, so to speak, kind of is what I'm getting. So let's go ahead. I got some oracle cards. We'll go through, and then we'll pull a little bit of tarot. So I had 2 of these cards come out, and I only had 1 for the first one. So the first one that you have is Beautiful Soul. Beautiful Soul. I like how she's got the rose-colored glasses, and looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, so everything looks like it's pretty and fine, and But it's rose-colored glasses. That's all an illusion, right? It's all an illusion. And then we have sport. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. 3-3. That's really leading into. I'm getting a feeling, setting your intentions. It's also got team, and threes can talk about working with others, working with others. So you know what, to balance this out, I really feel like, because I feel like here that this card is more about working with others, where this is like self. So, and I feel like there's a spectrum here that needs to go in between. So let's see what we've got here. So we've got also got flying 20, and then you've got one more card, so I don't know how we're going to fit all this in. We got 57, unmarked trail, revelation. Revelation. Okay, so things are coming through. This came out in the first, in pile one. This is the Sky Bridge possibility for union. So I really want to put this, I kind of want to put those together because of that union. I feel there's things coming through, but we'll go ahead. I'm being called to pull the cards out here. So we have Cosmic Dance. Celebrate your capacity to be joyous and take comfort in knowing that your path is one of success. Say it. Say what you're afraid to say. If you express what you've been hiding, it will give you all the peace that you seek. Oh my God, I have to place that right underneath that main card that drew you here, because this is perfectly what I said, that a call to action. I really feel like that many of you that came to pile two, might be activists, or maybe latent activists, a desire to be activists, that you want to stand up for something, that you want to break the current paradigm, break something down that is not serving the greater good at large. But with that comes can come some challenges, and that's where the Sky Bridge is a little bit of those challenges. But we'll get into that. And then we have the doll, childhood, play, naivety. I feel like that's getting creative, that out of the box thinking of how can I do this? How can I address these issues? How can I fight this battle in a way that is with integrity, that is for the greater good, that is within, that's not going to, in a way that you'll succeed. But I really feel like that's what I'm getting, because I said, I feel like the people that are here for this pile, what needs to be liberated is there's rules or things going on in the world, or rules that you're confined to that you don't agree with. You need to break free. You want to change the rules. You want to break out of the box, out of those rules. You're tired of being confined within them. So I mean, I could have a lot of LGBTQIA folks that are coming to this. I can see that where that there's that need to push for rights. I could have some Black folks coming here, because I feel that really that strong need to get your message out with the say it card, that it's also what your path is, and I, it says here, celebrate your capacity to be joyous and take comfort in knowing that your path is one of success. So I feel like, if you do this with integrity, if you find a way to do it creatively with integrity, you can get your message out there. You can get it out there so that people hear it. You can get around the rules that you've been forced to live, the confines of the rules that you've been forced to live within, that are wearing you down, that are holding you back, that, I feel like you can find a way to break the rules, to get around them in a way that holds integrity for you, like that you can still do it from a place of integrity, and still be able to live the way you want to live. Okay, so look at this. I didn't even look at this. We have the warrior, perfectionism, burnout. So this really, I'm getting, if you look at this, there's a lot of weapons. It almost gives me a call to arms, but war, call to war, call to action, call to, but it's saying here, that it has burnout. So it's like almost that caution that you don't want to, it's like, in a way, if you think about war can be very exhausting. It can be exhausting on people, resources, on everything. It just kind of it can consume a lot of energy, a lot of resources, people, everything, And so I feel like this is coming through of saying, we are a war, you're a warrior. You can get your message out there. You can succeed, you can do it, but be careful of being, like doing it from a place of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Friction, like, of challenging, like that you're going to start a war. Don't start a war over it. Like I said, I really feel like this is calling for finding ways, creative solutions to be able to get your message out there without causing conflict, without, turning it into a big affair that will cause the harm of many. Okay, where, when something goes to the point of war, of conflict, like I said, it exhausts many people, resources, people lose their lives, and so this is calling for you to, have that call to action, call to arms, follow your heart, but do it in a way that it doesn't start a war. Okay, it doesn't, so that, because that's what part of doing something with integrity is. It's about doing it in such a way that it brings, and then that's where this kind of the Wiccan law comes in, doing it in such a way that you won't harm others, that no harm will come to you or others, that you can still get, fight for your cause, and you can still, find ways to bring down those things that are holding you back without, without starting a war doing it. Okay, so we haven't, since I put all your cards out first, I kind of forgot to talk about some of these, but I'm just following spirit and what they're telling me to do. So, because this was kind of telling me a story. So we started out here where I think that you thought that things were peachy and fine, things were good, but this person has this character has these rose colored glasses on. So they were looking at an illusion. They were looking at the world through rose colored glasses. They didn't see the world for what it really was. And so then we go on this journey, and along the way we get confined, where we were free. We, when we had these rose colored glasses on, we were free. We were, we could do what, we thought everything was good. Life was peachy. We were fine. But now, like, these rules and restrictions are coming in, and it's so now you're getting this revelation, this understanding that something needs to change. Okay, and I love that it has unmarked trail here. I gotta get the card, bring the cards down here. Okay, bring the cards down into the camera so people can see them. We have this unmarked trail, and so this is really about, like, finding the road less traveled, um, doing things against the grain, doing things differently than other people have done them, finding a different way, blazing a different trail, setting. And I really feel like this is the people that, if you're here, if you're not resonating with this, definitely not your pile, because I really feel like the people that are driven here are either currently activists, latent activists, or they're fighting for something in their life. Like I said, you might be part of the LGBTQIA community, something to that effect, or where you have been ostracized, or not, you've been condemned to live, you're not allowed to live the life that you want to live, that you're trying to fight against the system. I feel like the people here really have something that they want to change in the world, that they don't agree with, big time. Like you really, and I mean, it doesn't have to be, it can be something within your world. To you, it's big. It doesn't have to be on a world or global scale, or even like a country scale or whatever. It could be just something in your direct life that it feels monumentous to you, that needs to be changed. So, but it's really calling for, this is calling for finding a way to do it, to break that limitation, to break free and liberate yourself in a way that is ethical. Okay, that's that ethos. In a way that's ethical is what I get. And so it's going to call for creative thinking. It's going to call for traveling down a path that no one's done, and doing something in a way nobody's done before. And so this is that bridge, building that bridge. Look at that. They're almost similar. Look at that. And these are two different types of trails, bridges. And I like that there's this portal energy. I am going to say that I'm being really drawn to, like, the 1010 portal that's coming up might be very significant to you. If you're watching this reading at any other, because these are timeless readings, so if you're watching this at any other time, whatever portal season, whatever portal is coming closest to you, that's when this will activate for you. Where you might get a message during that time that's going to push you in a direction toward finding the people that will help facilitate your call to action. Whatever that is. And I can't say what that's going to be, because everybody's here for different things. There's different things restricting them. But what it's telling me is that there's this, as you start down this path, which I really think, like, for those watching this reading when it's released, or around the time it's released, it's going to be the 1010 portal. But for anyone else, it's going to be the next portal season for you. Whatever's the closest portal, whether it's usually the 8/8 portal. There's several of them throughout the year. You just have to, you'd have to go out there and Google it, depending on when you're watching, if it's important to you, to go out and Google those portals to find out when they are, to see which one is closest to you. Is when I think when people are going to come in, or something's going to present itself where you can work with others to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve, that's going to help you break free of this, to help you come up with this creative idea, to get past this, a way to figure it out. And this could be just one person, or it could be a group of people. It could be a foundation. It could be, many, many, many different things. It could be just somebody coming in with the funding that you need to push a movement. I don't know. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be different for all of you out there. So I'm going to use the Tarot of the Divine here, where we pull, last one I pulled 4 cards, and then 4 cards from the Light Seers deck. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to push those cards up because I didn't have enough room last time. Okay, we have the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Coins, Ace of Pentacles. So that's that strong, stable new beginning and something. And that's what I really feel. I like that these are both discs too. They're both coins or both pentacles, because it's almost feeling that Ace of Pentacles off of that too. And I like how, because we talked about not not doing it in a way that will cause conflict. And so this is building on a solid foundation, doing it from a place that sometimes if we do something from a place of like a wand energy, it can burn out fast. It can, and this had burnout. You don't want to do it from a place of wand energy, because wand is fire, it's war, it's action. That's usually, the wands are what can cause the wars, is that wand, passionate wand energy. So don't do it from a place of burnout. Do it from a place of, make sure you're doing it from a place, whatever your path is, whatever way you decide to get your message out, or to break free of these restrictions that bind you. Do it in a way that it's going to be long lasting, that you build it, you find, and that also talks about doing it in an ethical way, in a way with integrity, that it'll stick around. When you do it that way, it's going to be long lasting. It's almost like it's going to stay, because it's just going to build on that foundation, and just build and build and build momentum from that strong foundation that it has been built. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. So we go from 1 to 2, which I get 2 is it's getting those priorities of how to do it. That comes at, the integrity, the ethics behind your call to action. So it's getting those priorities straight. Taking the time to think about how you're going to do it, the message that you want to speak, because the Queen of Swords is all about speaking her truth so that she can have victory. Okay? Perfect. I love that came out, that story. You're getting like a whole story here. Like your cards are just telling the story. It's so awesome. Yeah, I'm geeking out. You even got a song. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so you have the Nine of Pentacles. That is that strong, fierce energy of standing up. Like, this is somebody that definitely has their stuff together, and they are strong and can be a force to be reckoned with, because they usually know, they usually have everything that they need. Like, they're good. They someone that is very confident. This is I feel a lot of confidence, strength and confidence coming off of that card. And then we have the Queen of Wands here. I really just feel like this is the thing. So this is what's driving this call to action. Whatever is important to you. I really feel like this is what you're passionate about. It's your message. This is the message that's wanting to get out. Because look how this is coming out of her. It's like the message that wants to come out from her soul. And she's looking at that, like, and happy that she's finally getting this out into the world, is what I really am feeling there. Your cards are just popping out. And there's the Queen of Cups. Look at all this strong energy, strong feminine energy. We have all these queens, very strong feminine energy. Even this Nine of Pentacles, it's a very strong, confident energy, big time. Because this is like, Nine of Pentacles can almost be like a lesser version of the Empress card. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, so victory, working on something, putting in the hard work, putting in the effort so that it can be successful, and the Queen of Cups, this is just really about, expressing yourself. You say it, expressing yourself, getting it out into the world, and then putting that effort behind it to make it happen. So I'm going to wrap it up. I decided, as I told pile one, I have this little deck here, and I maybe used it in one reading at the very beginning, and I hardly ever use it because it's really hard for me to read it, because one, it's so small, it's hard for me to see what's coming through, or to see the cards. So we have the 9 of Swords coming through there, and the 2 of Cups. So this is that 2 of Cups is union. And this is something meant to be. I see 2 of Cups to me can be like a partnership, a union between, it doesn't necessarily have to be you and a person. For me, it's a partnership. So it can be you, it could be marrying up with, a partnership as somebody, like I said, merging and working with, a group or, other people. But I feel like this is like, like maybe, kind of in a sense getting in bed with something else, a group or a person, or that you're going to work with, that's going to help you facilitate this in some way. And I feel like that's that, that call. This is just calling me back to that pace yourself team, because I feel like the reason it's saying pace yourself is because this is meant to be done for you to not do it alone. Okay, that's what it's trying to tell me. It's don't try and take this on yourself. It's not meant for you to do it alone. It's meant to be, there's people that are, a person or people that are supposed to help you with this. So it might be a bit of a timing thing as well. And then we have the 6 of Wands. So we have the 6 of Wands came out here twice. So that's that victory. Like I said, I really feel like, if you try and do this and take this on yourself, you're going to bring a lot of anxiety on yourself, is what I feel like, and I feel like this is where you're sitting right now, is this stress, this anxiety of having to fit within this, within this structure, within these rules. It's really hard for you. It's what's causing this anxiety and stress in your life. So there's this need to do, you want to just do it. Like I said, I feel like there's this patience that's being called for at this time for you, that it's Spirit's really calling you to have some patience here, to not like lash out because of, from a place of anxiety or hurt or pain, to not, to kind of, to do it in a way that it's going to bear results, because you have a lot of cards of victory here if you do it in the right way. And so the universe, Spirit is trying to help you here understand their plan for helping you, in a sense, which is, saying, hey, I've got people coming in here, there's people meant to help you with this. You just have to be patient and wait, and then you're going to be able to get your message out. You're going to be able to express yourself. You're going to be able to do it in a way that is going to be, you're going to be able to put in the work to succeed, because once you meet with this people group, whatever it is, wherever you get that help, when it comes in, that's when you're going to be successful. That's when you're going to be able to do this in a way that's going to bear fruit, that's going to be long lasting, that's going to make that's going to have the ripple effect in your life that you're looking for, that's going to be able to break you free of this, where you can really liberate yourself. Okay. But unfortunately for you, the message is that it's going to require waiting for someone, something, a group, something. There's something that's supposed to meet you on this path, that's going to help you with this. Okay. So that person, I'm getting the feeling that person isn't here yet, but they're coming. And I really feel like I said, when I, talked about timing, I really feel like it might have to do something with the next portal season. So for those of you watching this reading when it's released, 10/10 portal is the next portal season. So 10/10, which we're getting close to that energy now. So that person or group or whatever it is may be coming in very soon for you. Okay. If you're watching this reading at a different time, just, if you're drawn to do so, go look for when the next portal is for you. Portal season. Look up, the portal seasons, and you'll know when you're on the right track when you see stuff like the 8-8 portal, the 10-10 portal. You can probably look at those and it'll lead you to the other ones throughout the year. So those are usually the bigger ones. Usually a 12-12 portal, I believe. There's several throughout the year, so you'll be able to find them. So that's where I'm going to leave you. I thank you so much for tuning in and watching this, all of it in its entirety. If you've made it this far, please hit that like button, subscribe, leave comments, interact in any way that you feel moved to interact with this video, because all it does is help get this video out to more people. It helps circulate it to more people so more people get the message. And I know my channel is not a huge channel, so I don't get a lot of people that come to my readings, but I really feel like I do the readings that I moved to do, not try and beat the algorithm. And I do that for a reason, because I feel like, I'm doing these readings for the people that need to hear them. And I know that Spirit will guide the people that need to hear them, that need to see them, to the readings. I have that faith and trust that the people will come. You build it and they will come. That's my philosophy in this. Build it and they will come. The people that need it will come and find them. So thank you once again. I thank you for joining me. I wish you the best. Hello, my pile threes. Hello and welcome. If you pick pile 3, you picked this Witch's Cottage card with security, and or you picked we're drawn to the Amethyst crystal here. So Amethyst, of course, is peace. So it kind of goes right in with security. So you might be needing I almost get a feeling of, there might be a sense that right now you're needing you feel almost like either in a hibernative state. I almost feel like there's a disconnection with, like, you're almost like closing yourself off to the world in a way. And I'll get to that, because with this Witch's Cottage card, it talks about, with the security, it's like finding a place where you feel safe and secure. And so I feel like this, if you came to this pile, the main thing, this is a reading on what you need to liberate yourself from. This is what you need to liberate in your life, liberate yourself from. And I feel like, for my pile 3 people, the main thing that is holding them back, or the main thing that they need to liberate themselves from, is their insecurities. The fact that that you may not have the courage to walk and this ties into pile 1. Pile 1 was it was similar, because it did speak to insecurities in a different way than this one does. So, if you might, if you were, for even a moment, if you were kind of drawn or on the fence between this pile and pile 1, there might be some messages in pile 1, because in some ways, they kind of do tie together, but not at the same time. So, but what I get here is this strong sense of, the fact that you need to feel secure and safe within your environment. Like, you don't feel, if you're coming to this pile, you may not, I almost feel like these are my outcasts, where pile 2 were either maybe closet activists, activists or closet activists. Pile 1 may be a lot of, I'm going to guess, can potentially be a lot of people that are in the spotlight, or like they have a lot of eyes on them. I don't get this from this pile. This pile, I feel like, are my people that try to stay out of the spotlight. And I know this energy well, because I have lived this energy quite a bit. I lived this energy quite a bit. So I know it well, of feeling like you don't fit in, feeling like you're misunderstood, feeling like people don't get you. And so you kind of close yourself off, because there's this sense of not trusting people to be okay with who you are in a sense. And it's not done where like pile one was like they put on, they try and put on a mask for the world so that they can, make people like them. They put on a front or put on a show and try and make people like them. And so that's causing them some issues right now. As far as, because they're trying to meet other people's expectations. I don't feel this pile is trying to do that. I think it's almost the opposite, where they're trying to keep up with the Joneses or meet other people's expectations. I feel like this pile is all about almost not feeling brave enough or not having the courage enough to really put yourself out there because of your insecurities and fears, and because of that fear, you have this need to feel safe and feel secure and have peace. It's like you create this peace in your life. Like you may have, if you're resonating with this pile, I feel like it's you may feel better when you're alone, or you might be a more, live a more single lifestyle, or you may have only a very like close group of friends. You don't let a lot of people in or let a lot of people get close to you because you're afraid of really shining and putting yourself out there, because there's something within you that is that doesn't, it's more of a not being able to trust yourself. So what's great about the witch's cottage is in this card, and the way this card is described in the book, it's a safe place that you can go to feel safe and secure while you're learning. It's like providing that security you need to trust in yourself and give you the courage and strength to trust in yourself so that you can, feel confident in the world around you, because there's something that's making you maybe not feel secure at this time. And that's what is what you're needing to liberate yourself from. Whatever there's an insecurity you have around something that is holding you back, and that needs to be liberated. It's asking for you to liberate that insecurity, that fear at that time. And it's saying that with this witch's cottage card, that the universe spirit has got your back. This also kind of gives me a sense of, it might be folks too that need to go on a spiritual journey. And that's part of it too, is when we're fighting and trying to overcome insecurities that we have, trust issues, things like that. That's, a lot of people call that a dark night of the soul or shadow work. There's lots of different names for it. Or it could be you're just going to counseling. You might meditate, but it's that reflective energy. It's having that safe space to go within, to gather the strength to change something within your life, to change, to change an energy, to change that insecurity or that trust issue or whatever, to put it behind you, to liberate yourself from that way of thinking. And this is providing you the safe space to do it. So there might be some of you that are being called at this time to, to maybe follow your path. Like maybe you haven't been following your path because you're afraid to stand up and walk your path, whatever that may be. There might be, a spiritual calling or a call to action, so to speak, of something that you're being drawn to do, but you're afraid to do it. You're afraid to take that action, and that fear of taking that action comes from a place of insecurity. There's something within you that is causing that fear. And so you're needing to liberate yourself from that so that you can go on the journey that you're meant to go on in these coming, months, years, or whatever. There's the spirit is trying to lead you down a path, lead you down in a certain direction, and you feel that pull, you feel that calling, you feel the need to go, but there's something holding you back, almost like the Four of Pentacles. There's something that's kind of holding you back and holding you in place and keeping you from going. And I feel like it's a fear, it's an insecurity that's doing that. And so that's what I really feel like for my pile threes here. That's what what you need to be liberating yourself from. That's what you need to get rid of. So I went ahead and I've pulled some oracle cards ahead of time just to save from shuffling through many, many decks and to save that time so we can jump right into it. So now I was only pulling one for, interesting enough, I was only pulling one of these cards, and this is the Inner Tarot Oracle card, or Inner Child Oracle deck. And so interesting enough, for pile one, they got one, pile two got two, and you got three. So it's interesting how that worked, but that's how it worked out. So we have here 39 bend. Oh, I guess I'll show you the card here. 39 bend and be. Bend and be. And it's like, I adapt, shift, and grow. I'm unbreakable. So that kind of speaks to those fears, of understanding there's nothing to be afraid of, that you can overcome anything, just be flexible, just roll with the punches. There's nothing to be afraid of, because, even in failure, we learn and we grow, we become better, so, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing, nothing at all to be afraid of. The fears are something we create in ourselves. So 40, natural connection. So I'll speak on that in just a little bit, but part of that too, I'm going to say, there's a lot of green here. I really feel like a lot of you might need to ground. A lot of you might be under a lot of anxiety, and because your fears are coming to the surface. And when our fears come to the surface, it can make us very anxious. And when we're in an anxious energy, that can, put us more in a mental space. And when we're in a mental space, then we're less grounded. And so a lot of I really feel like there might be, especially, you even got a yogi on this card. So you got yoga, you got these flowers. It's very earthy. There's this need to connect and get grounded, and maybe connect in nature and get grounded through, go take a walk, get outside, something to that effect. Or even like yoga can be meditative. So, when I talked about, kind of going within, that meditation can be a form of that going within to overcome this. And this is giving me a kind of a peace vibe that ties back with that amethyst and in peace, but also natural connection. I think natural connection with not only the earth, but also with spirit, with the divine. And then we have create, kiss the cook, create. And my creativity flows freely. So for some of you out there, there might be this, maybe you have creative gifts. Maybe you're an artist of some type, or you're a musician or something, and you're afraid of putting yourself out there, putting your work out there. You're afraid of doing that because you don't know what kind of reaction you'll get. You're afraid of people not liking what you do, and there's that fear of that vulnerability of an insecurity around whatever creative endeavors you do, or even maybe speaking up, maybe at your job or something. You might have a great idea and you're afraid to express it because you don't know how people take it, or if they'll like the idea. There's lots of different ways this can play out, but it feels like to me there's something in the way you express that's being stifled, because it's this need to express this creativity in some way as an outlet, but there's a fear around expressing it and putting it out into the world in some way. And I think a lot, for some of you, it has to do with a fear of, you feel like you want to belong. There might be fears around being different, of being unique and being different, that there's a feeling, a need to belong and to fit in, that's very strong with you, and that might be holding you back. I mean, it's okay, to feel connected. We want to feel connected, that natural connection. But I think this card also, this natural connection card, is letting us know, or reminding us that we're all connected. We're connected to the earth. We're connected to everything. We're all connected. So that's never going to leave you. That you're always going to be connected, and it's okay to be your unique self. It's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out and be different, and it's okay if everyone doesn't like you. Now, you're the only one that I pulled a unicorn oracle card for, because you were the only one that I was pulled to do this with. So okay, so and I now know why. So you have healer, you have powerful healing gifts, have faith in your abilities, stay true to your path as a healer. So this is really why. So this is a big shout out. So this is probably, I have a lot of creative people that might be, that might be empathic, or they have insight, that you have spiritual gifts, that the universe, this is why I was talking about, there might be this need to go within, there might be a spiritual journey that might be ahead here. And I see why, because the universe is calling for you to put these gifts into the world. These gifts that you have need to be shared. They need to be expressed, whether, however that is, because you have the power to be, you obviously, for many of you here, and it may not be everyone, and maybe you may not even realize this about yourself. Maybe this is a wake-up call that, when you hear this, maybe it'll resonate with you in some way, and you're like, oh, maybe that's, maybe it'll wake something up inside of you to spark going on this journey, because this is about breaking free, breaking free of something, what you need to liberate yourself. And we're talking about fears and insecurities. So you might have gifts that you've always been afraid to share with others, or to talk about, or think, because of how you feel like, you may feel like you'll be ostracized, because if you talk about it, or if if you share these gifts. But I feel like there's something, for most of you coming to pile 3, there's something that in you that needs to, that will help the world. And I kind of told this story to pile 1, but for a different reason, but I'm called to kind of share it now. So I had this awakening. Mine happened kind of before COVID hit, I think, or around the time COVID hit. When everything started in 2020, somewhere around then. I had this message that came through spirit, that through a different venue, through something I was watching, that hit home and made me realize that, for 40-ish years, I had, amassed all this knowledge. I've gone to, I'm part of, I'm an initiate in Temple of Witchcraft. So I've done training as a witch. I'm training under schools of shamanism, training with Native Americans. I've done training in different schools, mystical schools, on different where they focused on, went to different ones that had different teachings. And so I've amassed, and I did a lot of stuff on my own. And so I have all this knowledge, that I've amassed from a very young age. I started at a very young age where, my mother had books on dream interpretation and reincarnation and things like that, past lives. And I was reading those from a very young age. And so I was always, I always knew I had gifts, and I always had learned like I said, learned and amassed all this knowledge over the years, but I never did anything with it. And I got a message, kind of a knock on the door, from Spirit that says, it's time. You need to put all these, you need to share this knowledge. You need to share this knowledge with the world. You need to share it. So I went through, to shorten this, I went through a bunch of different things. It wasn't a straightforward path. I went through a lot of trial and error and a lot of experimentation, and and mixing things together and changing things up until I got to this, doing these readings. I had, before I started this YouTube channel, I had only picked up a tarot deck once. Now, I'd gone to a lot of tarot readers when I was a child, but I had not been to a reader, and I had not done anything with tarot cards, myself in decades. So I picked up these cards, and it just happened. It was meant to be. It's been a great medium, a great tool. The oracle decks and tarot cards have been a great tool to help me express my gifts and express the knowledge that I have within me, which is why I'm out here doing this. So, I learned through this that I am a healer. I do have powers as a healer. They come out in a very unique way, not only through these readings that I do, but people gravitate to me in their life that come out of the blue into my life, that I've noticed a pattern over the years, that people find me when they need me. And because of us just having discussions and talks about various topics, they learn from me, and I help heal them. I help change their way of thinking sometimes, where they get new insight on something that they never understood before. And now they through talking to me, they see things from a different perspective, and they grow out of it, which is a form of healing. And that's what I hope these readings do for a lot of people out there. So to get back to my point, though, that there might be, you have gifts that will help other people, whether you realize it or not. And so this is your call to arms from Spirit, that there might be a gift that you have been given, that you were born with, that Spirit is calling you to express. And I didn't mention this, but I had a complete fear. I was one of these people. I resonate. Like I said, I understand and I resonate. I've walked this walk. I was one of those people that was I always stayed in the shadows. I always stayed in the back. I never wanted to be in the spotlight. I never wanted to be out in front of people. I never wanted to be in the spotlight at all. I hated when attention was drawn to me. I always tried to stay in the background, always. And I had to learn to be okay to put myself out there. I had to learn I had to get over that fear of what, like being criticized and judged, and people saying, terrible things, possibly about my readings and stuff, and understand, that I'm not doing it for those people. I'm doing it because, Spirit, I need to share my gifts with the world. And the people like you that come here to watch these readings, you're here for a reason. You found this reading for a reason. But if I wouldn't have done this reading, you wouldn't be here to get this knowledge now. And so I had to overcome that fear. And that's what Spirit is telling you now, that you have those same kind of challenges. There's some kind of fear or insecurity that needs to be liberated out of your life, so that you're able to move forward and share your gift with the world, whatever that is. And it can be, and I explained what mine is, because it can be something so weird that you don't even know it. You can lead you down a path you don't even realize that you have these gifts, which is why this create is here, because and flexibility, to be flexible, because it's going to be a growing pain. It's going to be like, one of the things about this, with this witch's cottage, it's like, in a witch's cottage, you have all the ingredients to make spells, to co-create with the universe, and you can do it in a safe space. So the universe is saying, go find yourself a safe space, and if not, we got your back, to allow you this space to co-create with us, to co-create with spirit, to co-create with the universe, to find your way forward, to learn how to trust yourself and trust in other people, to let other people in, and to let other people share in you, and recognize you for the gifts that you have, because it could be like me, where you have a fear of being judged and criticized, for you. There was that fear that I did not like being judged. I didn't like, if I had to confront, face someone heckling me, I didn't want to deal with that. I That was the fear. I didn't feel like I had the confidence to stand up to that, to stand up to someone's ridicule. And so whatever your insecurity is, whatever your fear is, it's calling for that to be liberated, because you have a gift to the world that needs to be shared, that needs to be expressed. So we have the card 50 here, Spirit of the River, movement toward adventure. So I love this for you, because it's like, you can have fun with this. Fun finding your way, finding how to express your gifts. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be, it says bend and be who you're going to be. Be flexible, create, have some fun co-creating, experiment with things, learn, take time to make mistakes and learn and grow. You'll get there, and know that, know that you're protected, know that Spirit's going to watch out for you, know that it's okay, that they're encouraging you. When I started this reading, and I didn't think anything of it, but, before this reading, I saw 444, and that's really Spirit. Spirit's got your back. That's 444 is an energy of being protected, and the Spirit's saying, you can do this. We got you. You can do this. We believe in you. This thing, there's magnificent things coming for you if you're willing to try and liberate yourself from this. Look at how beautiful this is. This is saying, you have a beautiful soul. It needs to be shared. So if you're cutting yourself off from the world, if you're holding yourself back, if you're cutting yourself off, and maybe you're shy, because look at this unicorn almost gives me a sense of someone that's shy, that's reserved, that's scared to maybe put themselves out there to talk to people or to get to know people, because of not feeling good enough, not feeling secure enough in themselves, not feeling good enough, that those insecurities, they don't, you may not have a lot of confidence in yourself, and that is keeping you from, really putting yourself out there and becoming the person that you're meant to be, that Spirit intended you to be. You're not even living the life. I feel like you're not even living the life that you're meant to live. That there are great things. If you can overcome this, if you can break free of this, I feel like great things are coming for you, that you're gonna look back on your life and look at it and say, why didn't I do this sooner? I could have had so much. I could have had this abundant, great, wonderful life. I could have had all these blessings, and I feel like you'll be blessed once you really get into this creative energy, once you're able to express whatever your gifts are, and how, get them out into the world, and interact with people, and feel that love of the people that love what you're doing, and love the gifts that you have and what you're providing them, and see the value in it. It's going to be like it's like this whole new world is going to open up for you, and you're just going to be like, what was I waiting for? Why did I hold back? Why did I fight this for so long, is what I feel like. You're like, why did I fight this as long as I did? Is what I'm really feeling like here. So we have, you had a little more cards than I've had for other groups, so that's why they're kind of stacked on top of each other. So we have your the final of this card. I still got some more oracle cards. This is 43. Details, and we have clarity in reverse. So I really feel like there's some clarity that's needed here. I'm getting this sense of needing to kind of go within. I kind of talked about that. There might be, there's a journey that needs to be gone on for, almost um, like a spirit journey, or I can't think of the other terms that Native Americans and other tribal units have used for this. It's almost like discovering yourself, discovering your path, discovering yourself, your real self. Because I'm getting like with these sparkles, I'm getting like almost like fairy dust being, sprinkled on you to kind of wake you up. Like I feel like you've been in slumber until this point, and the spirit's like knocking on the door, trying to get, wake you up. And hoping to give you the confidence that you need to move forward. And with this details, I just feel like that, the details for me, what's coming through strongly is that you might tend to make excuses because of the fear and insecurities you have. That's what the details is coming through for me. It's that, making excuses of I can't do it because, or you always have a reason or an excuse why you can't do something for some of you, and that's what that's speaking to. So then we also have here ruin stones, ancient wisdom, fate, divinity. Like I said, this is fate. This was, this is your calling. This is, it's calling. And this is, I like that it's got ruin stones on here, which is a form of scrying, calling. I really do feel like this pile has, it's called out that you're healers, that you're definitely here for a reason. There's a gift that you have been given that you're meant to share with the world. And it tells me that there's fears and insecurities that you have developed in your life, probably from childhood, that stuck with you, that has kept you from sharing these gifts with the world. Or maybe, you tried to share these gifts and someone criticized you at a young age and made you feel like, you weren't good enough, and so you decided to never do that again. Whatever that could be. You could be a comedian and somebody made fun of you and said your jokes were terrible, and so you just decided not to do that anymore, or not to be that person anymore. It can be that simple. Somebody can just tell you you're not good at something, and you believe it, and then for the rest of your life you decide not to do something, not to paint, not to sing, not to do maybe play a sport or something like that, and share your gifts with the world because of one person that criticized you and told you, you couldn't do it, and you believed it. And because of that, you've held yourself back. It could be that simple, but this is calling for you to liberate that. This reading, if you're here, it's saying it's time to put an end to that. It's time to move forward from that. The forgotten, missed opportunities, fear. Look at that, fear of failure. So it's calling some of you out that have a fear of failure. And we've kind of talking about that. And I said, this is also gives me that, fear of missing out, fear of not fitting in, of not belonging, fear of being different, fear of failure. Like it's saying, you've probably missed a lot of opportunities because of your fear that you've walked around with. I think for most of you, most of your life, you've had these fears and insecurities that you've carried with you, and it's kept you from doing so. That's why I said I really feel like for those of you that take action on it and liberate yourself of the whatever fears are holding you back, it's going to open up a world of opportunities for you, because you have missed so many because of this fear, because you didn't want to act on the opportunities you were given, because you were afraid to at the time for whatever reason. And you've missed a lot of opportunities in your life that could have, could have taken you far. And so once you get rid of this insecurity or fear, you're going to go far. You're going to go far. You're going to really accomplish something. You have look at this. You have the power to manifest your dreams into reality. Use this energy to make positive change. Look at that. I mean, that's everything I just said. Pretty much like that wraps it all up in a nice little bow. And Saturn talks about, I think that we a lot of people are going through Saturn returns, I think, at this time. And Saturn returns can be tough, So, and that's why it's got tough love here. Tough love is necessary in order to shed parts of yourself that are immature or standing in the way of expanding. Look at that. Oh my God. Those two cards just basically summed up everything I just said. I'm nerding out. Sorry. I just love when Spirit does that. I love so much when Spirit backs up what I'm saying, and they just it's like, oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you for confirming. Thank you for confirming what I was saying. That's definitely the universe saying, yes, I am my reading is on point, and accurate, that what I'm saying is right, true and right, for some of you out there, some of you really need to take this to heart. So we're going to go ahead and get into the tarot portion. And I'm going to pull, I'm pulling 4 cards from the Tarot of the Divine, and then I'm pulling 4 from Light Seer's deck. And then I have a small little mini deck that I'm doing the final messages from, which has kind of come out as sort of advice, I guess, that was my intention, but that's what it's coming out as. So 7 of Wands, so I don't want to say that's what it is, because that wasn't my intention. It's just kind of how it's played out the last 2 piles. So we have the 7 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 9 of Wands. Okay, so I feel like here, so we put up barriers, we put up walls, when the 7 of Wands, we can put up walls, we can put up barriers, we can hold ourselves back when we have fears, when we have insecurities. This can definitely speak to that 7 of Wands of, kind of talked about a little bit of maybe, not letting people in, that shyness of keeping people at a distance, or, not really just putting yourself out there, like keeping yourself, holding yourself back in a way. And then with the 3 of Pentacles here, I really feel like this is that, beginning to do the work, like a calling to really maybe look at, to do that inner work, to look at what those fears are, to look at ways that you maybe self-sabotage, so that you can work on these, to change that within yourself, to understand where you might be holding yourself back, where you might be self-sabotaging, because, so that you can change these things, so that you can change them, so that you can feel more confident. Now, I know this is weird because this is the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands usually talks about kind of, again, putting up a wall and a barrier. But if you look at this is an interesting card. There's all, skulls on fire. It's like almost like heads on pikes on these wands that are on fire. And so it's like warding off evil in a sense. So and look at this. I feel like this is a little witch's cottage back here, and these are like warding off people that might interrupt your journey. I really am feeling like I know that's not the traditional meaning of this card, and I'm not that type of a reader. So I read energy, and so the energy, like I said, I'm tied to this being that witch's cottage, and we have this, like, what did people, put, when people put heads on spikes outside of like towns and villages and stuff, or or whatever. What did they do it for? They to ward people and keep people out, so I feel like it's spirit saying, I've got your back. I'll protect you while you're going on this journey, to bring, to find a way forward, to find the path forward, because, look, she's clasping this jewel, this gem in her hands, and she's clasping and holding it tight. I feel like this is your gifts that you've held and clasped tight. And because you've clasped tight because of the fear, because of the insecurities. This is also those, like the people that you've been afraid of confronting too. I feel like that's that fear of confronting these demons, confronting your demons, that are keeping and holding you back. Look at that. They're keeping you from getting to the witch's cottage, which is a place of security where you can feel secure and feel secure enough to express your gifts, to share your gifts with the world. They're that barrier that's keeping you from getting there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just saw that. That just came through, that message, but I see it perfectly, and I hope you see it too, because that's the way I see it. It's your fears and insecurities are holding you back from going on this journey, even getting in a place where you feel, secure. It's keeping you from, maybe it's kept you from, seeking that, to overcome those fears, because you don't even trust yourself in a sense to overcome this. For whatever reason, you might be telling yourself excuses. Temperance. This is look at that. It's the angel card. This is the card of angels, and the angels stepping in and giving you guidance and help and support. And it has this depiction on this card, not on all temperance cards, I think, but on this one it has the same balls kind of from the Two of Pentacles, which talks about finding balance and where there might be something out of balance, and finding like the balance so that you can find the way forward. And this is also the balance between light and dark, your light and shadow side. And so it's harmonizing that. And I really feel like, this is a shadow aspect that needs to be healed at this time so that you can heal others. And so this is telling me Spirit's coming in to help you with that. And if you're willing to let them help you, you might reach out, and all it takes to co-create is to reach out to Spirit, your guides, or whatever spirituality that you practice. It could be angels. Reach out, pray, meditate, whatever it is that you do or you follow your practice, and ask for that help, ask for assistance in working through this or overcoming this fear, and they will help you do it. They'll help you co-create, but it requires you to take action. You have to, in order for the divine, in order for the universe to co-create with us, we have to show the universe what we want. We have to take the action to make it known it's what we want. So you have to start the journey. You have to start down the path of showing the universe, I want to do this. And it could be just by, if you know what your gifts are, if you know what your gift or gifts are, if, like, say, if you're a musician, we'll start trying to do whatever it is you do. Play drums, play guitar, write music, whatever it is you do. If you're an artist, start writing or start drawing more or painting more. Show the universe you're trying, and then look at ways how you can, maybe if there is this fear of being criticized or judged, or people not liking your work, start small, find small places to put it in front of small people, and understand that, this is what helped me, and it might help you, because this Nine of Swords is coming through, which is talks about anxieties and fears big time. And we kind of talked about, I felt like that Three of Coins is looking at our fears, facing our fears, looking at them so that we can work on them. So I feel like that, oh gosh, I hate when that happens. I lost my train of thought, and it was such a good train of thought too. It'll come back if it's meant to come back. But there's these anxieties and fears that might be, oh, that's what it was. See, I told you it'd come back if it was meant to come back. That like, for me, it was very hard for me to like I said, I didn't like to be criticized, and I was afraid of being judged and criticized, and people heckling me and giving me criticism. And so what helped me with that is I realized, and I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, that when I realized that it wasn't about them, that it doesn't matter what, the people that criticize, this isn't for them. It wasn't meant for them. It's not, obviously not meant for them. Or maybe it was meant for them, but they're not ready to listen to it yet, But by the fact that they showed up and listened to it enough to criticize it, well, it had an impact on them. It had enough impact. And usually when somebody has a negative response, it's because it triggers something within them that needed to be healed. And so there was something they needed to see or experience that may play a small part in their healing, even though they may not consciously be aware of it. So it's understanding that, you're putting it out there for the people that need it, but if you don't put it out there, the people that need it will never get the benefit of it. If you keep that gift to yourself. Well, you're really making me shuffle here on this next card. Oh, there it goes. There we go. The Ace of Cups. So I don't know how many people are here that have watched any of my other readings or heard me talk about the Ace of Cups or the cup in general. For me, the Ace of Cups or the cup on many of the cards represents this. See how this is swirling, and it's got all this goodness in it. It's got all this, because this cup represents you. It represents you, us as a person. So when we give our cup to somebody, so this Ace of Cups, see how she's got that cup? It's coming from her, because it encompasses everything we are at that moment when we put ourselves into something, when we present ourselves as the person we are in any kind of situation. So, say you go to an interview for a job. You're bringing that Ace of Cups and giving that Ace of Cups to your employer, and it's filled with all your anxieties and fears and all your pluses to everything that you are and love, and your strengths and weaknesses. It's filled with all of that stuff, because it's you. It's essentially you, and you're offering that to something else in the world. You're offering that cup, and that's what this is. It's offering that cup of yourself to the world. And so and so this is what are you offering the world? This is like the call to say, to look at and say, what are you offering in the world? Because with the Wheel of Fortune, we got manifestation and Wheel of Fortune here. I think once you look at and can overcome and start working on these insecurities and fears and start creating and manifesting with the universe, even though it's going to be hard for you to do, because this is a 3, it's taking baby steps. And with even with temperance can talk about time and patience, and it might take some time, being kind to yourself, being gentle with yourself. But it's changing what it's changing what you're how you're presenting yourself in the world. And because of that, it's going to provide new opportunities, like we talked about, those missed opportunities. Now you're going to be more willing. Once you make these changes, you're going to be more willing to act on and to act on those opportunities. You're going to be more willing to put yourself out there, to give your cup to things, where in the past you were hoarding that cup. You were hoarding that cup. This little girl, she's hoarding that, protecting it, keeping it from the world, afraid of sharing it. Even this, a little bit on this card, she's holding that close to her chest, almost like she's afraid to give it, but it's like she's almost about to give it. She's almost about ready to give it. And I feel like that's, for my pile 3 people, that's what you're about to give it. You're about to give that cup away. You look at that. Yep, about to give that cup away. So this is really, with this Page of Cups, that is sharing your gift with the world. That is overcoming those fears, going inside, going and getting into that witch's cottage, whatever it represents for you, so that you can go on this journey, so that you can go on this adventure to really get in touch and overcome those fears, so that you can get in touch with your gifts and you can share those gifts with the world and be the healer that you're meant to be, to help the world heal in some small way, whatever. It could be a big way too, depending on, I don't know. I don't know what's in store for you, and what your gifts are. So it could be, you could have a huge impact on the world, and right now you're having, you may be having little impact on the world. Not as much, I should say, you're not having as much impact on the world as you're intended to, okay? Sitting in the energy that you are currently. So the universe is really trying to make this change, wanting you to make this change. So this is a deck. This deck here is the one I'm pulling the final cards from. I've only used it once before, and I had such a hard time with it, as far as, because it's so small, like being able to read the cards. Now granted, I did not have my glasses on when I tried to do that reading, so it made it even more of a challenge seeing the numbers and knowing what card it was. But I felt the need to pull from this deck for this reading, this reading today, because the imagery is very like airy and like spirit. It gives me a very spiritual vibe, and I wanted to. It just called to me that it was right for this reading, so I actually pulled it out. I pulled it out because specifically for this reading today. And like I said, this is only the second time I've used this deck. So for you, we have the 2, which is the High Priestess. We also have the Magician. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So that's why I said this could be a little bit of a challenge, because you have to know, as a reader, you have to know what the numbers represent. And then the knights are these little horses down here on the bottom. It took me a while. I kept getting transposing the knights and the pages. So like I said, it took me, I wasn't as confident of a reader back then, because it was one of my first readings I tried to use this deck on, and it didn't go well. But we have the High Priestess, the Magician, and the Knight of Wands. So this really talks about everything it really talks about everything that we talked about. We have the High Priestess here, which is, can talk about, going within or getting in touch with your intuition. Some of you, maybe that's your gift. Maybe that's your calling, is your intuition. Maybe you have sight, maybe the gift of sight, of insight. something to that nature. Maybe your intuition is your strength and you're not using it at this time. For some of you, this also magician, it's that, it talks about having those gifts and co-creating with the universe, that you have all the tools at your disposal to do what you need to do, and look at her, this magician is actually almost hiding a little bit behind this mask, because I feel like a lot of people in this pile that have come here, tend to kind of hide away, and that's what I get. Like, you're not using your powers. It's almost like a fear to use your powers, a fear to be yourself, because there's those insecurities. I mean, a magician's usually very powerful. They're very confident, but this person doesn't give me a feeling of confidence. They feel shy and timid, they're afraid of using their gifts, and even like this high priestess, look at her. She's like, you barely see her arms. She looks like she's all wrapped up and bundled up, all wrapped up and bundled up, and you can't even, like, she can't, like, she's being bound, like her gifts are being bound. Your intuition might be bound at this time because you've kind of kept it under wraps, and not really listened to it. But this is calling for getting in touch with the spiritual side of yourself, that it's really trying to come out. Especially if you, and not that I would think that there would be non-spiritual people that would come to readings, but hey, you may. But if you're if you tend to be non-spiritual affiliated, atheist, whatever, don't believe in woo-woo stuff, and for whatever reason you landed on this pile, this is trying to say, hey, you have gifts. You have gifts that you're meant to share. Whether you believe in this stuff or not, you have a fear of being yourself. You are your own worst enemy right now, and your fear is holding you back. That there could be a world open before you. The world could literally be your oyster if you can overcome this fear and insecurity that you have within yourself, whatever it is. And then with the Knight of Wands, is a call to action, a passionate action, moving towards something, really not being afraid. They're very courageous. They can be spontaneous and impulsive, very impulsive energy where you can, they charge forward, they charge in, they charge forward. They're not afraid of anything, and that's what I feel like, you need to embrace that energy of not being afraid and not letting things hold you, not letting people or situations or opportunities hold you back. Don't let your fears hold you back from where you're supposed to go. Okay, so that's what I have for you, pile 3. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you stuck with me all this time, I thank you so much. I really hope that you will leave comments, subscribe, interact with the video in some way. Well, even by watching it this long, it does help, with, the YouTube, the way YouTube works, and circulating videos. The more interaction with a video, the more it circulates the video. So it's not just for me. It's for letting, it helps get these videos out in front of more people. It might help get it to the people that need to see it, because unfortunately, we are, as readers, we're kind of constrained within YouTube's algorithm of whether, stuff gets to people. We're kind of at their mercy in a sense of who gets to see, who they put the videos in front of. But the more people that like and subscribe to videos or leave comments or interact with it or our channel, the more our stuff gets played in front of more people. They put our stuff in front of more people, and that helps my channel grow. It helps, get these readings out to the people that need them. So anything that you could do like that, I appreciate it. if you feel moved to subscribe, all the details are down in the description down below. If you feel like you want to donate, any donations go to more decks so that I can add more decks into the readings when I do them, and have more wonderful tools to work with here. That's what any donations I receive go to purchase more decks, so that you all get more benefit out of the reading. So that's what I have for you. I thank you so very much, and I wish you the very best.